do not follow anyone. Crave your own path, be prepared for your own path, learn from others.
That the viewers are going to have a very insightful session today.
Thank you. Pleasure is all mine. I'll try my level best to share as best as I can.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So, to begin with, ma'am, I would like you to share a bit about your childhood memories, about your education, your early career, and a bit of your family background.
All right. So I was born and brought up in a Sikh family, Sardar family of Delhi.
Okay.
And I remember, my father was the only, earning member in the family of seven, and he was into government job. So we were brought up with that kind of a feeling that, okay, even if we don't have enough, even then we have to go out, do dan, punya, seva, sadhana and all that. So we learned somehow that it's okay not to have, everything with you. It's okay to survive without much resources, and it's okay to go out and, give more to people. So that was a background that I have about my family. So since the very childhood, I had been kind of introvert, but I had learned to be extrovert also. So you can say by the time I was a teenager, I had this 50% personality. So 50% I was introvert to the core, and 50% I was extrovert. Then, I wanted to pursue my BSc in regular, but my elder sisters didn't let me because they said, we have wasted our 3 years of regular study. So you're just going to do some, vocational program rather than going to college and start wasting your 3 years there. And I was like feeling really bad because most of my friends had gone to IIT, and then, they were doing their doctors program and all that. Being a science student, it was a kind of shame for me that I couldn't actually go to a kind of regular university at that time.
Right.
But soon I realized that, when I did this course and I got into a job early, that they came back to me after 3-4 years time, and they said, wow, you are really at, maybe at an advantageous position than us. By the time we all will be having like 20 years of work ex, you will probably have 23 to 25 years of work ex, and that will be a great thing. So that's how I realized, okay, it's okay to sometimes take a path which is little less known, and it's okay to take maybe unusual path in life. And then when I went to the job, I was lucky enough to get mentors. And one of the female mentors, she told me, senior colleague, she said that, why don't you start doing language programs? So I started studying language besides my job in the evening time. I learned French, I learned Japanese, and this is how it started giving me a lot of benefits. Then I got tasted about, higher education and studying alongside my job. So I was also one of the toppers in Delhi University because I had done it through correspondence. So at that time, it was a great deal, to become topper by studying just correspondence studies.
Right.
So then alongside my job, I was always very, we can say innovative. I wanted to do some changes. I wanted to bring everything positive in the organization. So very chirpy kind of a personality. And then, always think of some changes to be made. So I was, I think, about 18 years old when I got into my job, and within 3-4 months, I wrote a letter to the executive directors at that time in my organization that these are the things which can be changed in the organization. And then he sent, I so meticulously wrote to him that he got convinced, and he sent an entire team for that paging operations, because paging was new at that time in India, and he must have found some great relevance in that. So he sent a team of top authorities in our Delhi office, and then they came, and then they heard from everyone what are the kind of changes that can be done. This is how I realized that maybe I'm a little different from others. And then I used to work like, dedicatedly. I was always performing best in my job. People used to tell me, you're a fool, that what you get paid for, you're working 3 times of what your salary is. I mean, 3 लोगों का काम करती हो. But then I used to listen from here, and it used to go out from here. So that was my personality since the beginning, that I knew sensibly what to retain here and what not to retain. So I think that was early career and early part of my life, and that helped me a lot to grow in my professional life later on.
Wow, wow, ma'am, that is so inspirational because I believe most of the young generation, even nowadays, they believe that if they don't go on the specific defined path that the society has, convinced us and ingrained in our brain that everyone has to walk this path, maybe do an engineering or become a doctor and then go. Those are the only things that are considered to be valuable, or people consider you to be successful in your life if you do that. But the truth
True.
is, people like you who are doing something so different are the ones who are actually interviewing people like them and helping them grow their business, their grow their personality in their job and stuff like that. It is so inspirational.
Yeah, truth is also Dhairya, that
Yeah.
sometimes life has got different objective and different path for you. So
Yes.
all I want to convey here is I also wanted to do my regular BSc like other kids at that time,
Right.
but I was forced not to do. And
Okay.
similarly, there have been many instances where I've been forced to do something which is what I didn't want to, right?
Okay.
So great learning, maybe after 20 years, they'll also have the same kind of learning. If they can learn right now, that's
Mm-hmm.
good. So even if life is pushing you into a different direction, see what best can you do in that direction.
Right.
No, I mean, how can you proceed ahead towards success, even in taking that path or that route?
Yes.
So that should be all right. I
Right.
mean, yeah,
Very rightly said, ma'am.
yeah.
So, ma'am, that brings me to asking you that what exactly drew you towards business coaching, content marketing, and helping people in career transition?
All right. So I told you that the within 2-3 months of joining my first job, I wrote a letter to executive director. So
Right.
I realized that somewhere somehow I'm pretty good in
Mm.
not just suggesting the changes, but also facilitating those changes execution. So
Right.
because I was part of that execution of the entire project that was done in my first job, so
Right.
I realized it very soon. And
Mhm.
then I was lucky enough that God gave me the wisdom through that mentor, a lady mentor, Nivedita. She was
Mhm.
my senior colleague. So she taught me a lot of things. And similarly, in my second job also, I got another lady mentor. She also gave me a lot of insights. So through that, I became wiser and wiser. What I realized was that if I start training, if I
Right.
start coaching, if I start consulting, at that time, coaching was not there about 23,
Yeah.
24 years ago. But if I start consulting and then training
Mm.
people, helping them, facilitating them, perhaps I would do well in my career. And God was kind enough. What you seek is seeking you, is being said by Rumi, the famous mystic. So what I was seeking was actually seeking me. I was doing a lot of courses, and I did my 4 post-graduation degrees. And
Wow.
then, one day I was studying Japanese management practices course from, it was 4 months post weekend course. So there, the owner of that institution and our teacher also, he
Mhm.
gave me an opportunity that if you want, you can work with us. So one day I, got the opportunity to meet with my MD at that time in second job. And MD asked me, what are you doing these days? So I told him I'm doing Kaizen. So he
Okay.
said, Ashok Puri se kar rahi ho, because Ashok Puri was the only name in Delhi, at that time.
Uh,
And they were neighbors. So knowing this pretty well, and then he must have spoken to him, he shifted me to TQM division, which is Total Quality Management division. And then
right.
I got into total qualities trainings, and then soft skills trainings, then leadership training. That is what I want to insist here,
Mhm.
be it for youngsters or even people of our age or maybe people of 60 plus. What you are seeking is seeking you. So
Yeah.
you just have to keep imagining with happy note, with happy feeling that, wow, I mean, that will be a great thing if God gives me something related to what I want. So I was wanting to get into maybe, subconsciously training, coaching,
Right.
facilitation. I got into that. So this is how it all started. And then, I also want to share here
Uh,
that it's just the beginning. During my last 20, 23 years of career, I've realized that where you start is not where you end. With what you start is not with what you end. So in between, you also get branched out, right? So there will be chances when you'll be given the opportunities, and then you'll be moved into different divisions. You'll be catching up different fields. For example, those of the people, like I was primarily a kind of turnaround specialist. I used to help organizations with their turnaround strategies, converting sick units into profitable ones,
Right.
business excellence, TQM, Six Sigma. But now my domain is completely content marketing. It's personal branding for the top industry leaders, etc. We are into production, we are into media. So what
Right.
I want to tell you is, if you are open to new opportunities, no one can ever stop you from evolving. Just be open to new opportunities, new domains,
Yeah.
and do not be frozen. I mean, I'm not a person who have ever frozen that my specialization is just Six Sigma or quality, so
Right.
I'll not look here and there, I'll be like this. I
Yeah.
was open to more opportunities, so be open to more opportunities. And this is how I got into content marketing and then coaching and more.
Wow, wow, that is a very powerful message, ma'am. Because as you said, I think what your message also says is that you need to always keep learning and upskilling, and always
True.
be open to anything, because you never know what life may throw at you and where it will lead you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely agreed.
So, ma'am, I also see that you are hosting your own podcast and global show, which is called the Value Edition Global Show, wherein you're calling the top CXOs, leaders, HR professionals, name the people, and you've had them on your show. How did that come about? And can you enlighten our audience a little more on that?
Yeah. So today I would love to focus on what you are seeking is seeking you. For
Mm-hmm.
last 20 years, I wanted to do something on the line of video making, and then media and all that. I even went on to sign up learning for video production about maybe 16 or 15 years back. But that could be possible at that time. And then when we came back from Canada and I got this opportunity, then I decided, okay, fine, life has thrown many challenges and many opportunities on me. Now is the time when I can start doing self expressions. चलो ठीक है, फाइनेंस भी हो गया, चलो ठीक है, business भी हो गया, चलो ठीक है, career भी हो गया. Now what next? So once I was listening to Oprah Winfrey, and she said, after successful 25 years of my show, I decided there's next calling for me. So this happens with everyone. This happens with everyone. We just have to listen to that subtle voice. And then I realized, wow, bingo. I mean, this is the time now I can utilize to get into media, to get into production, start my own show, which I had been, maybe longing for long. I wanted to do something in the video line for the corporate sector.
Yes.
So this is how I thought, okay, fine. So 2018, I started doing all this. And then, we have a production house in Delhi. So we started inviting the industry leaders from different places to Delhi for featuring on the show. And we used to have long episodes.
Right.
And we realized that people don't have patience to watch 15, 20, 30 minutes long episode these days, So then we decided in about October, November that maybe December, we will go ahead with 1 minute mini episodes, which can be broadcasted on all social media platforms. So I started going out, and then I started making these 1 minute mini, you can say video shows with top industry leaders from across the world.
Right.
And they were very successful. Then pandemics hit, and then for 2-3 months we were like thinking, okay, what should be done? And another great opportunity came. Now we are like live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn all together, and we are nailing it on LinkedIn Live. So this is how it is going. Like, what you're seeking is ultimately seeking you, and it won't spare you, it won't leave you till you get it. Right? So whether you're seeking a guru, whether you're seeking a mentor, whether you're seeking a job, just stick with it, and stick with it with happy feeling. Not that feeling of longing for, wanting to have, come what may, crying. No. Be happy, trust in the universe, maybe trust in your guru, trust in the process, and you will get it. So I had been wanting to have this for long, and now I have it.
Wow, that is so nice. I think believing in yourself, in your dreams, and just, maybe not clinging on to it, but having that faith and moving
True.
forward with that vision will
Yeah,
someday land you.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. And this is what I always wanted, that each big channel, let's say CNN, CNBC, they are featuring top shots, right? So
Right.
they are featuring top industry leaders. But I was of late thinking that there is no show which features general managers, which features vice presidents, executive directors, etc. They have humongous insights in
Yeah,
them. They have huge exposure with them, and if they come out and start sharing doable strategies, that's
right,
why this value addition global show that I host came into the picture, that we want them to share doable strategies, not just talk about their journey, but
right.
also share step by step what should be the approach so that people can have exponential growth in their personal, professional, or business environment. So this is how I started inviting not just the top industry leaders,
Mhm.
but also general managers, vice presidents, and other people,
Yeah,
whoever I think from 100 plus countries can contribute to someone's personal, professional, or business growth by means of
right.
sharing doable strategies. I would love to call them on the show.
Wow. Wow. That's so true, because they have a very significant contribution to the growth of the company, and I'm sure because they've grown themselves in that company, they should be given a chance to come up and share their strategies as well. And you're doing that via your show, and that is really amazing, ma'am. So
Thank you. Thank you so much.
yeah,
Yeah.
moving on, what I was wondering was, ma'am, okay, you started off, you took the non-conventional path, you came up with your own media production house, you started your own global show, you're coaching CEOs and founders, helping them build a personal brand. How did LinkedIn come into play? Because I see that you have a massive following on LinkedIn and you're producing some amazing content. And I have been following you for closely about 3 months, because that's the time period that I've been active on LinkedIn. So I have observed
All
that,
right.
yeah, I've observed that you have a global initiative or a community of sorts, which is called Leverage LinkedIn, wherein you're aiming to, help and guide users how to use LinkedIn and make valuable connections. So what was the thought behind that? How did LinkedIn come about? And, things on those lines.
Hmm. Interesting. So, yeah, LinkedIn journey first, in 2018,
Mhm.
I started investing when I opened this media agency. I started investing more and more time into YouTube. But please do understand, each social media has got its own rules, regulations, its own shelf life, its own, plateaus, and its own strategies. So what
Right.
I observed was, despite investing 6 months into YouTube, I wasn't getting that traction, and I believed I started using my channel more like a content library rather than a distribution thing, right? So but then one fine day I was like, okay, it's been long time since I've had my account on LinkedIn. Let me see what's happening with LinkedIn of late, and I became more active on LinkedIn. So within 2 months of being active on LinkedIn, it started last year in February
Mhm.
2019. Within 2 months, I started posting every day.
Right.
There was a rule. I mean, people used to say there were guidelines. If you're posting every week, that means you're very regular. I said, come
Mhm.
on, what? Every
Yes.
week, people need to see the content every day. We have
Great.
insights every day to be shared. So then, within 2 months of posting my content, I got an inbox message
Mhm.
from India's top leading beauty care company, the oldest beauty care company. The owner of that company
Mhm.
sent me an inbox message. Divya, send us your profile. And
Okay.
I was like, bingo, LinkedIn works,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
That was the first taste of inbound growth. What does it mean? Inbound growth is pull growth. When you do content marketing, like you place your content strategically on
Mhm.
social media platforms, sharing your insight, as at the same time subtly positioning yourself. This is called content marketing, right? So through this content marketing, I was getting continuous pull growth.
Yeah.
And this is how I realized, wow, I mean, that's a great thing. Now, when pandemics hit, I was doing my business perfectly fine, getting a huge amount of opportunities. And then top industry leaders were coming live for my training programs and coaching sessions. Then
Right.
when pandemics hit, some of the people approached me.
Okay.
Some of them said that we have lost our businesses and we are on the verge of bankruptcy. Some of them said that we have lost our jobs. Some students also approached. They said, ma'am, we are not very clear about our future, what's going to happen. So then I was initially reluctant to help people for free because I had done tremendous work for free in past few years, tremendous work for free. I had done a lot of philanthropy, a lot of social causes, etc.
Right.
But, next or maybe next to next day, I was sitting in silence. And then I realized some voice came within. So what? I've got 3 product lines. All 3 are profitable. If I spare 1 product line and if I create a free kind of service for them, how does it really matter? The entire world is suffering. People by that time, 12 crore people in India had lost their jobs by that time.
Right.
So then that voice came in, and then, I started thinking, okay, fine. Suddenly that 1% of LinkedIn figure came into my mind that I can reach out to 1%. By that time, I had read on internet that we were already 675 million.
Yeah.
Some people say now we are already 800 million. I'm not updated, right? So because LinkedIn has to come out with formal figures for this.
Yeah.
So then I decided 1% is 6 million. That means 60 lakh. And then I said, okay, if I go out and share my trainings with the people, so what is the harm, right? So then I started going out, training people live rather than recorded sessions.
Yeah.
Live, right? So
Yeah.
it was 2 hours mega webinar. So sometimes 4 people used to come, sometimes 40, sometimes 100. So then I started delivering it, and people found it so useful that most of them started coming back. And they said, hey Divya, we want to help you out. We know 6 million is a huge, humongous figure that you have decided. Perhaps you won't be able to achieve it alone. Tell us what needs to be done, and we are willing to volunteer for this cause. Okay. This is when that leverage LinkedIn came into the picture, because I was already helping so many people leverage LinkedIn for their job, for their business, or for their growth opportunities, pulling the growth. Right. So I thought, okay, so a bunch of people came together and we decided, fine, let's start this movement. And now we have hundreds of mute volunteers. When I say mute volunteers, means as and when they get time, they support us, right? They help us reach out to colleges, universities, institutions, then startups, then, corporates. Right. And we have already trained people, 15,000 people from 12 countries. Wow. And we are now spearheaded to move to 200 plus countries. So we are spreading our wings slowly, because it is a volunteering movement, and we have about 50 plus dedicated volunteers, like who come in the meetings and then who participate fully well and all that. Right. So this is how LinkedIn helped me, and this is how Leverage LinkedIn movement started. This is not my personal movement now. This is a movement. This is a global initiative. Right. So anyone can join, and then we have webinars on YouTube. You can always go and attend them, and not even a single product is marketed or sold through this. It's purely an education initiative. Like in most of the webinars, free webinars, the coach or trainer would be sitting and he'll say, wow, so I've given you these insights, now you go and buy my products. We don't do that, because this is completely a global volunteering education initiative.
Wow. Wow. That is so amazing. I think you have used LinkedIn in a way where you have grown yourself, and now you're helping so many people grow together with you. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I am an ardent, you can say, ardent follower of Bhai Rajiv Dikshit. He was a scientist and a great person. So he said that what is the definition of moksha? What is the definition of mukti? So moksha is when you have learned, you have benefited from something, and you go out and you train others on it. You help them achieve. It can be financial freedom. It can be, some education. It can be some moment whereby you have greatly benefited, and now you're going out and you are helping others also achieve that same level of benefit. So I think I'm on the path of moksha by his definition.
I'm sure, ma'am, you are. And it is so beautifully and rightly said. because I believe uplifting each other is the need of the hour.
True, it is. It is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah,
Without that, you can't grow yourself.
true, true.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, ma'am, you've done so much. It's been such a glorious career, so many years of experience. What is it that still motivates you, that is still driving you to, move forward with your vision? And who is that one person, or maybe a few role models that you have always, looked up to?
All right. So step by step, we proceed ahead. First question is, what is it that keeps you motivated? So I think we all pass through a lot of difficulties, challenges, bad times, worst phases in life, and worst to worst phases in life, and best to best phases. So sometimes you are not driven by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You are driven by that divine power,
Yeah.
that divine circumstances, or that divine maybe plan. So when I sit and I think through myself, about myself, I think there is some divine plan that's working, and there's some divine power that's driving me. Otherwise, I mean, this kind of a thing is not possible. The kind of extreme circumstances that I had gone through, the kind of unusual things that had happened, uh, I truly believe there is a divine plan, and that's running my life now.
Wow. Wow.
And your next question was?
I wanted to know is there maybe two or three people, or maybe one person, that's totally up to you, who you admire and look up to?
All right. So we proceed next in this divine plan. So if you look at all those mythological series or serials, you will know that first something is planned for you, then you're put into the test and trials,
Yeah.
then another thing comes in front of you, you evolve through that, then another, then another. So,
Yeah.
in the entire divine plan, I was sent to some ashrams.
Mm-hmm.
I was sent to some holy places.
Okay.
So I think I was also guided towards some holy books, like Autobiography of Yogi, when I was passing through the toughest and the worst phase of my life. In the afternoon, I used to do my routine stuff that was required to be done during that circumstances. But in the night, I couldn't sleep. And I was made to read that book.
Okay.
So midnight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I used to read that book. So maybe it's not just one person, one guru, or maybe one place.
Yeah.
Different places,
Mm-hmm.
different books or different resources, and different gurus, divine energies, or people have come into my life, mentored me, gone away. Then others have come, mentored me, they are going away. So it's a conglomeration of different things as a part of divine plan that's happening.
Yes. And I believe most of the time when they come into our life, very few of us actually recognize them, in the sense that we don't know that they are going to be coming in, just guiding you, showing a path to your life, and then leaving. There's a purpose that they've come into your life.
There's a purpose. And the moment you get 3-4 jhatkas in life, big wala, then you start realizing, wow, okay, another mentor, another angel, another bodyguard, or maybe soul guard, or maybe mental guard has come into my life. And wow, now next, and you start getting prepared. So it's okay. I mean, some people realize soon, some later, and some even later, but everyone realizes ultimately, because we are all on the path of evolution. So we all have to evolve.
Yes, very rightly said, ma'am. So when it comes to your work, ma'am, is there anything specific that you have in mind going forward? Like, what is your vision, not just with respect to how you're helping others, or because there's so many things. You have your podcast, you have your show going on, you also have a community on LinkedIn that you are trying to build, and then obviously you have your personal coaching that goes on. So if I had to ask in general, what is your vision going forward? I would like to know that.
All right. So there was a point of time when I used to create vision for myself. I used to create all those visual boards and everything. I still do that to to some extent. But since the time I've got to know that this is all divine plan, I've just kept one big vision in my life, which I would not like to declare here. That's just one single pointed vision in my life.
Okay.
And I've completely left it to the faith and the grace factor of Guru.
Right.
And I'm now working wherever, whichever direction Guru or that divine energies take me to. So
Right.
I'm open to it, but I've kept my one strong vision. Maybe you can say samarpit kar diya, ki now
Right.
it is up to you.
You.
Here, if it happens, good. If it doesn't, fine. Despite
Right.
that, like, it's okay. So I'm just working hard.
Hmm.
Obviously, there are short-term plans, there are
Right.
long-term plans. But when you talk of vision,
Yeah.
that one strong vision I've decided and left on to the faith and grace factor of God.
Wow. Wow. So basically, you are gonna continuously keep working towards that one vision and goal that you've set for yourself. Whatever comes along the way is just an add-on, and if it happens, it's by their grace. If it doesn't, it's completely okay. Right. That's amazing, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe that, if we, as you said, clinging on to something and just thinking about one thing day and night is also not very good, I believe, because yes, you do throw out positivity and radiations into the universe about something that you are longing for. But having said that, God itself or that divine power knows what you are seeking. So there is no point actually rushing behind it, day in and day out, rather than just work towards that goal with your efforts, as you
Yeah.
said.
In fact, I would like to highlight, Dhairya, here. There are two
Yeah.
kinds of philosophies.
Right.
In the world, everything is true and everything is false in a way.
Yeah.
So, two kinds of philosophies operate in our life. One is if you desperately want something.
Uh-huh.
One of the gurus, his student wanted something and he said, I want to see God, I want to see God. So,
Okay.
one of the gurus, what he decided, they were taking baths in Ganges, and he pushed his head down so that he could drone into the Ganges. So he tried his level best, chatpataya, sab kuch
Huh.
kiya, and then he finally came out.
Right.
So he said, if you want to achieve God, meet
Uh-huh.
with God, realize God, then you have to do this kind of an effort.
Yeah.
Day in, day out, without any other thought. So then he asked, what kind of thought did you have when you were struggling with life? He said, I just wanted to come out of this water. I was
Yeah.
droning. So then you have to put in one directional focus. Not here like horse blinder, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
only this way. But another philosophy is that, whatever has to happen will happen.
Yeah.
Keep working hard. It's not that you sit, relax.
Right.
Keep working hard. Be open to opportunities. See what God has to offer. Like Oprah Winfrey says, that I was open to opportunities from universe, trust in the
Right.
process of universe.
Yeah.
So both philosophies work, and then whichever, not necessary that you follow one philosophy all through your life. Maybe after 10 years before I was like this kind of a philosophy believer, and after 10 years maybe I become more relaxed. So it's all right. It's all right. Whatever philosophy at whatever point of time is given to you or suits you, take it and proceed
Right.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take it as it comes. Right. Right, ma'am. So as we are moving towards the end of the podcast, ma'am, I would really like to know, are there any points of advice that you would like to give for the youth or anybody who's trying to do something similar to what you have done, the path that you have straddled? Any pieces of advice? Would love to hear that from you.
All right. So I would strongly urge, do not follow anyone.
Okay.
Crave your own path. Be
Mm-hmm.
prepared for your own path.
Okay.
Learn from others. Let's say if you want to be billionaire, go through, study their patterns, study their behaviors, study the kind of strategies that they have implemented in their business, but do not blindly follow them.
Right.
You have been given your own path. You're so unique. Crave your own paths, right? Try. Maybe what at most would happen is you're going to fall 3, 4, 5, 10 times, but fine. And because unnecessarily when we start following others, no, what
Yeah.
happens is we become them. For
Yeah.
example, if I do follow Warren Buffett for his strategies related to financial freedom and
Right.
etc. But it's not that I exactly start buying the stocks that he is buying.
True. Right.
Are you getting me? So
Yeah.
learn from them, set them aside now. You've learned enough. Now start working.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what most people keep doing all through their life is they keep reading books, they keep collecting knowledge, they keep collecting information, not even knowledge. They don't evolve from that knowledge. I mean, what I've realized is if you read one paragraph today, have you implemented that into your life first, then read another paragraph? So that is what I want to say here is rather than following people blindly, just take one action plan, first implement that action plan into your life. Then go back and see what he is saying.
Right.
For example, Gary Vee. Now he's very famous. Most of the digital marketers are following him every day. I listened to him couple of days, couple of weeks altogether. Then I figured out that these are the actionable points I'm going to take from him.
Right.
Like he says, create content. So I'm creating content, day in, day out. He says, share it. Even if it is 5 posts a day, then I'm sharing it. Right. It's not that without even implementing, I'm listening to his podcast every single day, doing nothing.
Right.
So follow completely one piece of advice first. Then once you have implemented, seen the results, then go and watch another episode or another content, etc. This is my personal thinking. I mean, it's entirely up to them. This is what I would love to do.
Yeah.
So
follow and take action on it. Apply it. Implement it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Apply it. Action on it. Review it. And just don't collect information. We are all in the race of collecting information. I've read these many books and I mean, what has been implemented out of those 300 pages?
That matters. Right.
That matters.
Yes. Right. Thank you so much for that advice, ma'am. I'm sure a lot of people have gained so much of knowledge and such unconventional things, if I may say so, because they're not the stereotypical things that we, hear mostly. And thank you for that, ma'am. So we are towards the end of our podcast. Ma'am, would you like to share, how our viewers could reach out to you in case, after post this podcast or be updated with the kind of work you are doing?
All right. So I'm available on LinkedIn. You can always figure out Divya Shlokam, DIVYA SHLOKAM. On LinkedIn, you will most likely land up in 1 or 2 profiles. And then you can figure it out. So, and then I'm available on Facebook, I'm available on Instagram, I'm available on Twitter. My website is www.divyashlokam.com. And my email address is contact@divyashlokam.com. So I've given you all the coordinates. If you wish to reach, you're most welcome anytime.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are going to reach out to you because there's so much to learn from you. And before, I let you go, I want to just thank you again for taking out the time. And it's been a wonderful learning session for me rather than a podcast. Thank you so much for taking out the time and coming on the show.
Yeah, Dharya, before we move ahead and we say goodbye, I would love to ask you, I was going through your profile, I was going through your interview, I'd done my homework before you did your homework. I would love to ask you, how did you do those 20 internships?
You have
so love to learn from you. Love to learn from you. Yeah.
It's an honor that you're saying it, ma'am. Actually, I have shared this quite a couple of times, but just to, give it in brief, I learned very, very early on what my calling was. And that was because of my family and friends around me and my mentors. I realized my strengths. I worked on them. I failed a couple of times. I faced around 30 rejections because I didn't have the experience. But the 31st time when I tried, I got through it. And it was a foreign opportunity. I got an internship in Dubai, luckily. And from then on, ma'am, as you said, one opportunity comes in, it opens another door, it opens another. And I really didn't realize. And today, honestly, if I have to say so, I've done more than 25, I believe. Even currently, I'm in about 15 plus organizations at once. And the only thing which keeps me going, ma'am, is, as you said, you need to give back to because I've started rejecting paid internships for being involved with associations like Humans of Mitti Ke Rang or any kind of organization where I feel I'm adding value to others and my personal, development in general. So I just followed that rule.
Wow. Salute to you. And I wish you great success ahead. Now there's no looking back for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It means a lot. Thank you everyone for joining us on the show. And thank you, Divya ma'am, again.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Yeah.